Hi guys, I'm going to talk about emotions today. So how emotions can harm your body and give you all these feelings. And we always talk about things with the five elements because that's what Feng Shui and pillars are about. They're about the five elements. And so how we talk about emotions is uh, each each of these elements gives you an emotion. So you actually can drain that emotion or get rid of that emotion if you want to by draining it. When I say draining it, it's like weakening it, not feeding it more elementally, but taking away from it. And so if you think about it as, we call it the nourishing cycle. So it's wood feeds the fire, fire burns and makes earth. From the earth we make metals. Then metal, think of it as a bowl, holds water and water feeds that wood. So I know I repeat that for everyone that comes to have a reading. I repeat that for everyone that I do their home, etc. But this is all we use in Feng Shui and pillars. If you need more of something, we give it to you, that kind of thing. So when we're looking at this, if you are angry, then anger will weaken your liver. And the liver is actually, it's a wood thing here. So this is your liver. So that liver, because it's wood, how are we going to weaken that liver? Then what we do is we give it some fire. So we give it some fire as in, pop a red top on, or grab some red paper and start writing on red paper. It's kind of like that. So that's how we drain all anger, frustration, etc. This is also conflict and quarreling. So give it a go. Okay, it's just everything I talk about is elemental. So this is how I also live in my own home and myself. Okay, so then we've got grief. Grief will weaken your lungs. What ends up happening with grief is the lungs is where you are breathing, etc. And grief is actually a metal element. And so how do we weaken then grief? Oh, this is stuck today. Must be all that cold weather. So that metal then, water is what will actually weaken and drain it. Drink some water, I guess, in that sense. Take 3 breaths, drink some water. In that way, elementally, we're draining it. Have a bath, soak in a bath, that kind of thing. Okay. Worry, when we have worry, it's the stomach. So what it does is it actually ties knots in your stomach. And so that is an earth element. And so how do we drain it? Acupuncture is my favorite thing. So acupuncture will get rid of some of that because, what we're doing here is really balancing. That is all. I'm not a doctor. I'm not shrink, whatever. This is how we're working with that balance. So acupuncture, or wrap yourself in a white a blanket, wear a white top, that kind of thing, because that's the metal, and metal is that purity. And so, the worry is drained and weakened. Okay. Stress actually weakens your heart and your brain. And so that stress is draining the fire and it's draining the brain, which is also up here. Fire goes up, so it's up here. And so how do we get rid of some stress? Earth. Go for a walk in a park, ground yourself. That's how, we're going to get rid of some of the stress. Heart and brain becomes very, very emotional in that sense. Okay. Fear is the kidneys. So when we have fear is also, we were talking about it yesterday. Hi, Lisa. We were talking about it yesterday, doubt as well, and the day before. So that's where doubt comes from. Okay. So again, to drain this, there's the wood. So, go hug a tree or go sit under a tree or go barefoot on grass. Everyone has a tiny patch of grass. And because the park is a little bit further than me where I'm living now, I just go out there with my cup of tea, bare feet, and I stand on nature strip. Yep, still that weird lady. So for you, do that, because what ends up happening is, even though that emotion weakens and drains your liver, this will give it somewhere to go, the wood, because you're grounding at the same time. And then you can actually support that again, that fear, because remember that fear is that water. It's down here in the abysmal. No one knows what's there. That's fear. It's the same. You don't know what's coming. You don't know what's going on, etc. That becomes the fear. So what you then do is you are draining it. Okay, we're coming from down here in the darkness where fear and doubt came from, and we're coming out into the light where the green grass and the trees grow. Okay, again, it's elementally cool. Think people ask, I doing this because someone said to me, what about love? Love brings in peace, it brings in harmony, it can help with happiness, it strengthens your mind and your body at the same time. It is a fire thing. So again, have you had your heart broken, go out and just have a mud bath, or I don't know if we can do that today, but mud on your face, mud mask, how's that? Or go out where there's soil, even if there's grass growing there, go out where there's soil and walk on that, sit on that, have 3 breaths on that, that kind of thing. And all else fails, just watch a comedy, laughter. Laughter reduces stress, and smiling spreads happiness. So all of that. And life is actually not, they do say life is not short, or life is short. It's actually the longest thing you'll ever do is life. So it's not really short. So here's your 5 elements. Next time you're feeling a bit doubtful or have some fear, go outside and just walk on the grass or hug a tree. Okay, and that's it. It's how your emotions are. Whatever your emotions are. I remember I couldn't control my emotions. No, I won't talk about that one because I probably will fall apart. What about when you are Hagen, when you are heartbroken, you do not go and play Celine Dion. I say that to my students in class. So play some akadaka like that, and that'll and you want to get up and dance. If you play Celine Dion, if you're too hyper and you can't relax, etc., she brings you down to earth. I love Celine Dion, so don't get me wrong. Okay, so there's your 5 elements. This is how they work together. Hopefully that's answered a lot of questions. Yeah, because that's what I had. I had grief, anger, how do I get rid of fear, doubt we were talking about before, what will bring me happiness. So what will topple this is you elementally. Okay, so you could be the wood element. Too much wood, that gives you anger and frustration. So you've got to get it out, get rid of it, that sort of thing. If you are fearful, etc., and you just feel you're not contained, then metal, the bowl holds the water. So metal, more white. I'm not saying go out and get piercings. You can, that sort of thing. If you need more water because it's too much grief, etc., calligraphy. Sit down and just write and draw some calligraphy if you can. So, yeah, in that sense. Lisa, how many coins should we keep in our home at this time? There should only be 6 coins, and that is for in the West for the year. The month I have forgotten, but go back to the monthly post and it'll have that. And that's it. And can you believe, this will make you happy, it's 154 days till Christmas. All right. So again, this is a cycle. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of changes. Everything you experience is here. which is triggered. It's triggered by a mood. It's triggered by a relationship. There actually is no reasoning, when these happen, because every 2 hours the energy changes. And so in the morning, it's a lot of fire. There's a lot of emotion happening in the morning. In the afternoons, it's a lot of metal. While you're sleeping, there's a lot of wood. Hence, you should get some sleep to get that creativeness happening. The water is then after that. All the fear dissipates because you're already asleep. You're already in that darkness, and that's how it should be. Lisa, is that in every person's room? Well, if your room is actually in the west, Lisa, then yes. If you're asking me about something else you've read, can't comment. So if your room is in the west, then yes. If the west has 2 rooms, then you've got to put the 6 coins in 2 rooms, both rooms, because the wall divides that. Okay? All right, I'm going to go now. I'll see you guys tomorrow.